Hello everybody, good evening. This is a special edition. We'll talk today about the two phases of the House of Representatives elections, and we will focus on the second day, the second phase of the elections. And we are joined by Dr. Ahmed Ishac, specialized in international law. Dr. Ahmed, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Okay, Dr. Ahmed, let's start with things you witnessed and really attracted your attention. I mean, when you followed up these two phases of the House of Representatives elections, what was very special about these two phases? What was things that we analyze?
First of all, I'd like to express our grateful, all of us, for the statement of the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi a week ago that ensures that the election should reflect the true will of the voters. It was very, very important, and it's really also expressed our will, and it's ensure that he live with us and feel what the people feel. And we also need to be grateful for the National Election Authority that responded with this statement that cancelled for the first time the election in 19 19 districts.
Districts, yes.
And it was for the first time. So it's very important that we note that the NEA, National Election Authority, is very straightforward to apply the law. Once it's found as a violation for the law, then it cancels the election in this district, and it's express the real intention or the real will of the people and the voters. It's a first point. Second point, that we find that a huge participation of the people in different governorates that really express that the people had increased. There is a real increase of the awareness of the people of the importance of participating in the election. Because now the people here in every place believe that every vote counts. So it's really it's very significant that the people are widely participate in the election process.
Okay, Dr. Ahmed, sorry for interrupting you, but right now we are joined with our correspondent from the headquarters of the National Election Authority, Abir. Good evening, Abir.
Good evening to you, Mohammed. Councillor Ahmed Binderi just wrapped up the last press conference of the second day of the parliamentary elections in 13 governorates. Judge Binderi, Councillor Binderi, was following up minute by minute from the very beginning of the day in an operation room with all the governorates participating in the second phase of the parliamentary elections. Judge Binderi and Councillor Binderi talked to all the officials monitoring the polling stations in all the governorates. Some violations have been recorded in some committees. South and North Cairo, no violations or breaches have been recorded. In Port Said also everything was going well. In Ismailia, some crowds were being gathering in the polling station, and a number of judges were deployed for the polling process to be easy and good. Also in Suez, one violation by a candidate and 3 of his followers has been recorded. In Qalyubaya, everything was well. In Sharqiyya, high turnout was recorded, and one violation also in El Sharqiyya. For Daqahliya, son of a candidate was arrested due to some violations by him in the committee. Councillor Binderi said that the counting has already started in some of the committees, and also there's some committees opened until now. He said that all the committees will be opened until the last voter cast his ballot. Also, Councillor Binderi said that a regular agent is not entitled to attend the counting. Only those who hold an official notarized power to attorney from the candidate are permitted to attend the counting. At the end, he thanked the Egyptians for participating in the parliamentary elections 2025. He also thanked the Ministry of Interior for securing the electoral process, and also he thanked the media for the coverage of the electoral process. Mohammed?
Amir, have you heard or seen any reports coming out of international or civil society observers? Okay, it looks like that was the end of our SNG Live with our correspondent Abir Mitwali at the headquarters of the National Elections Authority. Right now we go and follow this report. We'll be back after it. Stay tuned, please.
The second phase of the 2025 House of Representatives elections held on Monday and Tuesday marked a critical and carefully orchestrated stage in the country's legislative renewal process. Overseen by the National Elections Authority, this phase spanned 13 governorates: Cairo, Qalyubiyya, Dakhliya, Munofiyya, Gharbiyya, Kafr al-Sheikh, Sharqiyya, Damietta, Port Said, Ismailia, Suez, North Sinai and South Sinai. According to NEA statistics, nearly 34.6 million eligible voters were registered to vote in this round. To manage the vote, 5,287 sub-committees or polling stations were organized across the governorates. In terms of competition, 1,316 candidates contested individual seats in this phase. They vied for 141 or 102 individual seats, while in the party list system, only one list, the national list for Egypt, contested in the relevant list constituencies. The list votes in this phase covered two list-based constituencies: the Cairo South and Central Delta Bloc, 100 seats, and the East Delta Bloc, 40 seats. The campaign preceding the election was tightly regulated. Ahead of voting, a mandatory silence period was enforced, and authorities warned against violations. Logistical preparations for the phase were robust. According to NEA and local government reports, operations rooms were activated in each of the 13 governorates to monitor polling stations in real time. The Ministry of Local Development coordinated with other bodies to ensure logistical readiness. Polling sites were inspected, lighting, ventilation and power backups were arranged, and facilities for elderly and disabled voters, such as shaded waiting areas and wheelchairs, were put in place. Security was also a key component. Judges from the Administrative Prosecution Authorities and the State Lawsuits Authority, about 9,200 in total, supervised polling, ensuring compliance with electoral rules and transparency in counting. The context of this phase was not without tension. The NEA had earlier annulled results from the first electoral phase in 19 constituencies due to documented irregularities, including improper campaigning and vote counting issues. These cancellations covered roughly a quarter of the constituencies from the first round. President Fattah al-Sisi called on the NEA to act with full diligence when reviewing the reported irregularities, emphasizing that electoral outcomes must reflect the true will of the electorate. Voting on elections day followed a two-day schedule from early morning until evening to maximize accessibility for voters across urban and rural areas. Domestic polling stations opened at 9 a.m. and closed at 9 p.m., consistent with procedures from the first phase. Immediately after polls closed, committee heads at the subcommittee level began announcing numerical vote tallies in the presence of candidate representatives, media observers, and civil society monitors.
Welcome back, and we continue our coverage for the elections, and we're joined by Dr. Ahmed Ishac, specialized in international law. Dr. Ahmed, if we talk about the participation of women and young people in the two phases of the elections, what can you say about that?
Honestly, we would find that there is a great participation from women and youth. As they are now in these days, according to the law, they had a quota for special candidates. They should be represented in the House of Representatives. For example, there is a minimum charge for the women to be 25% of the whole parliament should be from the women. And every list, we know that in this phase of the election, there is a competition for 102 seats for the first list and 40 seats for the second list. For 102 seats should at least 51 women should be represented, and there is at least in the 102 there should be 6 of youth. So as a result, that support the youth and women to participate, especially they are now a great part of the shoulders of the new republic. So as a result, we would find that women, youth are participating highly and very good with their percentage.
Okay, what if we talk about the facilities offered by the National Elections Authority for the disabled and elderly? What can you say about that?
Really, the NEA offered many new facilities for the people with disability. For example, it's offered that the ballots should be may be written in braille, that serves and helps the blind or visually impaired to decide or to choose their candidates independently without any help of any person. Also, if the same person or the visually impaired person shouldn't use the ballot with braille, it's easily to ask for a help or the assistance of the head of the subcommittee to help him to choose his candidate. Also, there is a new facilities for the hearing impaired. In every ballot there is instruction to choose on the other side of the ballot. There is an instruction to choose in sign language. That helped every one of them to know the number of the candidates, how he should choose, how he should elect, and it's also easy for every one of them to decide and choose independently without any help. For the person with disability or the physical impaired, there is ramp. There is a ramp in most of the subcommittees that allows them to enter every subcommittee easily. There is also many wheelchairs offered in subcommittees. That if anyone would like to use it, if a person with disability or elderly people should use it. It's also there is volunteers that they would present any kind of assistance for any of the elderly or a person with disability to allow to go inside and out, go in and out of the subcommittee. That's really honestly, it's very, very nice or very very good facilities offered by NEA that allowed people with disability to participate in the election.
Okay. How far the National Elections Authority provided facilities for international observers and domestic civil society observers?
Yes. Really, the NEA issued about 20 licenses for different embassies to follow up the election. Also, it's issued a 14 license for the international organization like Arab League and the African Union to follow up the same election. And also there is about 60 license for NGOs, non-governmental organizations, national non-governmental organization to follow and check the whole electoral process. That ensures that transparency of the whole process. There is nothing to need or nothing needed to that all we need to ensure the will of the voters are reflected in this election.
If we talk about social media, in your opinion, how far they managed to shape the awareness of voters throughout these two phases of voting?
Nowadays, social media plays an important role. Now it's a part of the propaganda. It's part of the every candidate campaign to offer his experience, his role, what he would do, what he did if he were represented before in the House of Representatives. It's easily to reach everyone in every place with no cost. That helps many representatives, and it also helps the voters to know or get familiar more with every candidate, and it costs nothing. It's easy for everyone to talk to his voter, to his people in his districts. But maybe it is not easily or widely get to in some places or what we can say in poor places, which is it is not easily or not familiar to use some social medias.
Okay, right now we have on the screen some voting stations where counting have started, and we will continue following up with you. Dr. Ahmed, if we talk about traditional media, televisions, newspapers, radio stations, how far you think they were successful covering the elections, and do you have any comments concerning the coverage?
Honestly, now we have more than 20 national channels that covering the elections, and many international channels also that covering the national election. So we may found that every single piece of the election are covered It is not. It's nothing may be hide. Not for not. It is not a luxury. No, not everything. Every all the whole process of the election are covered by the whole of whole TV. They are covering different sectors, different overviews. So it is honestly they played the role.
Yeah. Do you think the National Elections Authority managed to address misinformation or unverified reports through the conferences held by Councillor Ahmed Bindari, Executive Director of the National Election Authority?
In every election, all over places, sometimes there is a rumors. So these conferences, like the NEA held during the day, helps the people to get the truth. So all these rumors are ended, or they shut down these mouths by these conferences along the day. So now it's easy for the people to get the truth easily. Also, the NEA has the authority to cancel partially or wholly the election if it found a great violations. So it's honestly that NEA played a very good role in this electoral process.
So talking of violations, we were following the conference by Councillor Ahmed Bindari, Executive Director of the National Election Authority, and he talked about some violations that happened or took place throughout the day. How can we analyze that? How can we talk about this in terms of transparency?
That's as we mentioned before, that in this once we find the different license to monitor the election, once we found many channels and different social media are covering the elections, nothing may be hide. So the NEA through its daily or twice or 3 times a day conferences held every day, it's kind of transparency to make a declaration or clarification of every violations, and it take all measures to stop and end any kind of violations.
Okay, if we move to another point, Dr. Ahmed, and talk about the coordination and cooperation between civil society bodies and government bodies in order to facilitate voting for Egyptians. What can we say about that? Do you think civil society organizations played a pivotal role here?
No doubt, civil society are playing a great role in following and monitoring the elections. Why? Because
I'm not talking only about monitoring or observing. I'm talking even in the sense of facilitating and making things easier for voters, clarifying things for voters, volunteering to help voters. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to civil society.
Okay, no doubt that they played a great role in facilitating the participation of the voters in the elections. Maybe they present a transportation if they need, if anyone, special persons, for example, person of disability or elderly people, or even the people they are far from subcommittees, they would represent a kind of transportation to help any people to get easier for the subcommittees. They also they increase the awareness about the instructions of choosing the candidates in every subcommittee.
And that's very important.
Yeah, because in some districts the candidates are obliged to choose only one candidate to have a valid ballot. In other districts, they are obliged, or they are often used to choose only two. So social societies played a great role in increase the awareness of the people of how to have a valid participation in the electoral process.
Have you witnessed any differences between the first phase and the second phase of the House of Representatives elections?
Yes, maybe the main difference for me that I found a highly participations more than the first phase. The second observation I found, the competition is getting much stronger than the first phase. Maybe the statement of the President Al-Sisi support and encourage the people and the candidates to participate, to compete strongly and highly more than the first phase. Maybe they are the two main points that I found. Also, I also maybe a third observe I found. Every party asked its candidate to represent an detailed sheet and or file about the amount of expenditure for his campaign, because to keep to make a declaration about the expenditures and the money paid for the elections. So it was a very significant in this second phase. Also, maybe a last thing that there is a declaration or this a notice that every candidate representative will have the result of every subcommittee by the end of the elections in the second phase, and it wouldn't happen in the first phase.
Yes. We are joined again by our correspondent at the headquarters of the National Elections Authority, our correspondent Abir Mutwalli. Abir, good evening. Do you have any updates?
Good evening, Mohammed. Yes, I have updates. Councillor Ahmed Al-Binderi just wrapped up his press conference for the second day of the House of Representatives election 2025. Councillor Binderi thanked the Egyptian citizens for participating in the elections. Also, he thanked the Ministry of Interior for securing the polling stations, and also thanked the media outlets covering the international and national media outlets covering the electoral process. Earlier in the press conference, Councillor Binderi spoke to all the officials responsible for monitoring operations room, monitoring the electoral process. Some violations have been recorded throughout the 2 days, Mohammed. Some variations were in Al-Daqahliya and in Al-Sharqiyya and many other governorates, but everything was under control. Also, Councillor Binderi said that the polling stations will be opened until the last voter casts his ballot.
Yes, Abir. Do you have any updates concerning counting, and when do you expect, when do they expect to finish counting?
Yes, Mohammed, counting has already started in the majority of the committees. Councillor Binderi said that a regular agent is not entitled to attend the counting. Only those who hold an official notarized power of attorney from the candidates are permitted to attend the counting, which means that not all the agents of the candidates are attending the counting. Also, some committees started, as I said before, counting, and some committees are still operating until the final vote by the final voter to cast his ballot, Mohammed.
Abir, finally, do you have any news? Have you heard any news concerning reports from international observers or civil society observers?
Yes, Mohammed, nothing was, everything was under control. The electoral process was went smoothly, and everything, facilitations were in the committees. The QR code facilitates the voting process to the citizens, and no breaches or violations have been recorded by the international observers, Mohammed.
Yeah, Abir Mutwali, our correspondent at the headquarters of the National Elections Authority. Thank you very much. And back to Dr. Ahmed Ishac, specialized in international law. Dr. Ahmed, according to Councillor Bendari, the National Elections Authority is the only authorized institution to announce the final results of the elections. How far it was made clear to the audience and to candidates, so we cannot depend on any figures coming from any place?
Sure, the only authority that allowed to announce the results is National Election Authority. It's according to the law. All what we can say, all the numbers or everything may be mentioned, it's only depend on the brief issued by subcommittees for every representative of the candidates, that they would make a figure of the numbers of each one, how the number of the votes that obtained for everyone, but there is nothing or there is no final result should be announced, but if it wasn't by the NEA, National Election Authority.
Okay. If we talk about political parties, do you think they played a role in campaigning? They played enough effort or exerted enough effort in showing people the need to participate and showing their agenda for the future if they were elected? Do you think they did enough effort in that field?
Really, the parties played a good role in this field, but maybe we still need more and more efforts. These parties represent or reflect a good part or a good number of the voters in the society, but it's also, we still, what we can say, the democracy process built step by step. It is not from a day. One day we will reach the top of the standard of democracy in the whole world, but we would say that we are on the way, on the right way. The parties played its role according to its experience. Now they had a good experience since 2013 and 2014 through the new constitution. Now we would find that we had a stable elections according to timetable that reflect the stability of the agenda or the timeline of the every elections. Now, since the constitution of 2014, we had 2015 elections, 2020, now 2025. So the parties are a real part of this process of these elections.
Okay, that takes us to another important question. In spite of the regional and international disputes and conflicts, the Egyptian state was conscious and determined for these elections to take place. What do we understand from that? What are the messages the Egyptian state wanted to send?
It's in small words that Egypt is a strong country, and the democracy and the electoral system in Egypt is a very strong. It's respect the law, whatever the election according to the timeline comes, it will be held up. Nothing may stop the election. So it reflects honestly that we had a mature democracy, that the whole system in Egypt is strong. It's independently, and the people had the awareness and the confidence that this or every election or every electoral process will be held on its time. Well, a few months ago we had Senate elections, and
yes,
it held in its time. Nothing maybe stop the Egyptians from building the new republic. It's now we had in this all this between this region, but Egypt goes on.
Okay, if we talk about Egyptian expats voting, especially in the second phase of the elections, according to Councillor Ahmed Bindari, Executive Director of the National Election Authority, the second phase of the elections witnessed a high turnout of Egyptian expats, especially in some European countries for the first time, and he said that France witnessed the highest turnout of Egyptian expatriates in Europe. How can you understand that? How can you analyze that?
Easily we may understand that there is a great confidence of the Egyptian elections, because it's not easy, or it is not. It's kind of transparency to open the door for all countries, especially Western countries like France, which is a high degree of democracy and the highest degree of kind of elections held, to let them to observe and get kind of monitoring or check or look inside how is the Egyptian election goes on. So it's no doubt that the elections in Egypt is reflect the transparency, the maturity of the democracy in Egypt, how the new republic is reflecting the Egyptian ambition in the future.
Okay, if we talk about individual seats and lots of candidates, competing for individual seats, was that good? Was that bad? How did you see that?
Okay, in the phase 2, we found 1,319 candidates competing on 141 seats.
Yes,
that's
a very big figure. I mean, 1,319
yes,
competing
about
over
10 for every, about 10 candidates for every one seat.
Yes,
it's approximately or between 9 and 10. It's kind of it is not bad. It's good to allow the people have many choices. Especially, we would say we are in we still have a lot of parties. If we said in every here in Egypt we are more than 100 licensed party has license. So if we think, or if we find that in every district, for example, only 6 or 7 parties have candidates. We are only have 7, and if there will be 2 or 3 more free candidates, so it's about 10. It's logic to have this number according to a huge number of parties in Egypt. According to we also high populations. We are in this phase. In phase 2, we had more than 34 million and have person to participate in the elections. So if we find this number, it would be logic, and it would keep with logic. It's maybe step by step, if we are going further in the elections, the parties would be maybe it's a recommendation to get a lower number of parties, so it may allow for a lower number of candidates.
Well, that takes us to another question. In Egypt, as you said, Dr. Ahmed, we have lots of political parties. But the question remains, how many of them do exist on the ground, and people know that they are there, and they really reflect the hopes and aspirations and needs of people?
It's a hard question to know as the real answer of this question.
Approximately.
Maybe about 2025 only as an effective
but that's still a big figure.
So if we compare it with US, it's only two parties for a country which is greater than Egypt 10 times.
Yes.
If we compare it with Germany, only 4 or 5 parties. It's no doubt about it. But if, as we mentioned before, the new republic, the steps of the new democracy built since 2013. Now we are only 12 years. So, as a step by step, maybe we would expect these parts would be merged and to reflect right, left, middle. It would be better and easier to represent the real need of the people.
That takes us to the agenda of the political parties in Egypt. Do you really think that there is or there are real differences in agendas concerning political parties in Egypt?
Honestly, we would find that now it's about in the parliament in 20 to 25 parliament or House of Representatives was formed about more than or about the third of the parliament was from women. That represent diversity and the importance of empowering the women as a part of importance of genders. Honestly, it's very, very good steps that allowed to empower the women, especially when we guarantee that there is a quotas in the closed list to make a guarantees for the political priority groups to participate or to be represented in the House of Representatives.
Okay, we'll come back to this point, but right now we're joined by our correspondent Lubna Yahya. Lubna, good evening. Tell us about your location and any updates you have.
I am in the Qalyubiyya governorate, and the polling stations have entirely closed. You know, they close at 9 p.m. and they're closed here and they're closed all around the Republic. You see the wrap-up of the past 2 days. I'm going to give you a quick wrap-up to you and our viewers. Throughout the past 2 days, I was a correspondent in the Shubra al-Khayma district. It's district number 3. In the Qalyubiyya governorate, there are about 6 different electoral districts, and that was in the 3rd one. There are 71 candidates competing across the governorate. 321 polling stations with 500 sub-polling, 3.6 eligible voters all over the governorate. So these are the statistics of the governorate, and then regarding the logistics, Mohammed, everything was super secure throughout the past 2 days up until the election process. There were security patrols around the polling station where I was in, traffic patrols, making sure that everything was secure, no obstacles whatsoever. So voters have to go through any trouble getting to their polling station. Also, there was this booth, all right? This booth was an instructive kind of booth to people that don't know much or are quite confused about how to find their committee. It was provided for and it was titled "Know Your Committee" in Arabic, Araf Lagnetak. People were gathered there right before walking to their committee. They would find out which place, and then they move forward. So they were given instruction on how to cast their ballot, and never who to vote for, only how to vote. And the turnout accordingly was exceptional. It would be higher after the morning or noon hours. It's a little hot in the morning, but then in the afternoon it gets a little chillier, so people would actually show up a little later after the break. And actually today it was significantly much more crowded right before the closing of the polling stations. There was a significant number of women participating in casting their ballots. Lots of elderly, which is quite odd. Despite their age, they are very keen on showing up and casting their votes. Also, I noticed some people with disabilities. However, the facilities needed for them were there, well provided by different services. The police personnel would help them if they need anything. The health sector provided the wheelchairs, the braille card for people with visual impairments. So you can say that any kind of health. Also, there were ambulances stationed nearby the polling station just in case, you know. There were also an electricity generator also stationed next to the polling station. So if any kind of electric emergency happens, it would be there to make sure that this kind of problem gets solved right away. So those were the logistics around the polling station in the Shubra al-Khayma district. The turnout, as I told you, gets higher throughout the evening, much more than in the morning. That's pretty much it. What else would you like to know, Mohammed?
Well, Lubna, of course, throughout these 2 days of the voting in the second phase of the elections and before in the first phase of the elections, what are the things people need or expect from the coming House of Representatives?
Yes, Mohammed. I believe that people showing up this much around this House of Elections, House of Representatives elections, it only means one thing. It only means that people want their voices heard. And that is exactly what we saw in the crowds, in the lineups, in the booths of trying to just even know where their committee is. Some people don't even know where to start. But then they would actually go through the trouble, find out, to make sure that their voices are heard. So people, like Egyptian citizens now, are much aware of what they need to do regarding the political scene. They realize that they are part of this entire, and they want to make sure that their voices and what heard, achieved, and that is by making sure their voices are casted in this election. So maybe this is what we're going to be expecting in the next phase of the political structure in Egypt, having a Senate, a new Senate, and a new House of Representatives. We're expecting probably a very much greater and a much more solid political structure in Egypt.
Lubna Yahya, our correspondent from Qalibiya, thank you very much for being with us. And back to you, Dr. Ahmed. You were talking about the quota for the disabled women and young people. Do you think that really help give them a chance or push them forward in the political life, or we just leave it to people to choose them? What do you think?
No, in my point of view, it's very important for a new democracy, a the new republic, to make a guarantees for the whole sectors of the society to be represented. That reflect the real vote or the real intention of the people inside the society. For example, if we neglect the quota, we would like before the revolution 2013, there was no real representation for different sectors. Now we in the new republic we find more or about third of the parliament represented by women. Now we find 8 persons with disability are elected, not
not appointed.
Yeah, no, and also one is appointed by the president. It means now we find, for example, 9 persons with disability are taking place in the House of Representatives. It's the first time it wasn't appeared before the new republic. Also, we find according to the quota that allowed the Egyptians abroad to participate. Now we find in every list of 102 seats there is at least three persons from the Egyptians abroad. Also now in the list of 40 seats there is one person of the Egyptians abroad. So that means in every list we find diversity. We are increasing the scope of participation in decision making, especially that the House of Representatives in the next period from 25 to 2030 will follow many important agenda, especially in the economic situations, and also education, healthcare. It's very important for the people to have diversity in the House of Representatives, so that allow the House of Representatives to play its role in according with the real will of the people.
Okay. Right now we're joined by our correspondent Nermeen Abdurrahman. Nermeen, good evening.
Good evening, Mohammed.
Well, tell us about your location and updates you have.
Yes, Mohammed, as you know, all the polling stations closed their doors exactly at 9 p.m. Cairo local time, and this is exactly what happened here in Al Mansoura, where I am. But you know, it closed just a few minutes after 9, because as it was promised by the National Elections Authority and by all authorities that if any voter is still in the premises of the polling station, he or she, of course, is going to cast his vote before leaving. And let's, if you permit me, remind our viewers with some statistics regarding Al-Dakhliya governorate. The number of eligible voters in the province stands 4,708,301 citizens registered on the electoral rolls and distributed across various cities and districts, exactly 10 constituencies. Here in Dakhliya, Muhammad, as it is one of the biggest provinces in Egypt, we do have 288 standing for individual seats, a total of 38 seats, 17 for the list, the party's list, and 21 for the individuals. And Governor Major General Tariq Marzouk, the governor of Dakhliya, was very much keen to have some inspection tools in Al-Mansoura, but around Al-Mansoura in different cities affiliated to the governorate, to make sure that the electoral process during the 2 days is going on smoothly and without irregularities. And if there are any irregularities, he really extended his thanks to the security personnel, as they interfered on the spot whenever there was anything wrong or anything to impede the process. The polling stations even were equipped with surveillance cameras to detect any violations and to arrest them immediately. The operation room, which was formed in the headquarters of Al-Dakhliya governorate, and right after the closure of the polling centers, they started the counting there, and then they moved with the ballot papers to the main committee to continue with the counting, and this is taking place even as we speak right now in Al-Mansoura Stadium.
Okay, Nermeen, you talked about the statements by Councillor Ahmed Bindari, Executive Director of the National Election Authorities, that everyone that is there in the premises of the voting station will be allowed to cast his ballot. Do you have any figures, can you give us any numbers of voting stations that are still working till now?
No, already, you know, those who were in the premises 9 p.m. I mean, no one who has gone, who was
I understand that. I understand that.
No, now all the polling closed their doors. The counting even closed inside Al-Mansoura, and they moved to the stadium of Al-Mansoura to continue with this. But you know, as I said, also Al-Dakhliya is a big province, so the judges coming from the borders of Al-Dakhliya, in Miniyat al-Nasr, in Al-Manzala, in Al-Kurdi, in some cities where they are about 1 hour separating them from Al-Mansoura Stadium, they are now arriving a judge after the other to continue with this counting from the main committee in Al-Mansoura Stadium, Mohammed.
So have you witnessed any violations concerning allowing relatives of candidates to be there and attend counting or anything like this?
Only those who were permitted by the National Elections Authority are found. And regarding the irregularities or any violations, it was said more than once, whether by the governor or by the general director of the security governorate here in Al-Dakhliya. Violations detected, they were met on the spot by the security personnel, and even there was such a powerful enforcement of law regarding the absence of any electoral advertising around the polling stations, and reflecting with the law, there are collective efforts exerted by the governorate in coordination with all concerned bodies, and here I mean the ministries of health, of education, of course, as all of the polling centers, as you know, are located in schools, the Ministry, of course, of Interior. All these concerned bodies were coordinating together, and were all the time coordinating efforts via continuous contact to make sure that the voting process is going to be a story of success. And even, you know, they consider it as an model cooperation with state institutions, in line, of course, with the political leadership directives, and to ensure the objectiveness of all the state bodies, and also to facilitate for all the voters. And also, I should say that also more than once Governor Tariq Marzouk extended his greetings, and he also extended his thanks to the citizens of El Dakhliya, as they showed awareness of their political right, and the awareness of the necessity of going to the polling stations and to accurately choose who is going to represent their province in the coming House of Representatives, Muhammad.
Namin Abdurrahman, our correspondent in Mansoura Dakhliya, thanks for being with us. And Dr. Ahmed, Namin talked about the coordination and cooperation between state bodies to facilitate voting for Egyptians. And she was talking about people in the Dakhliya governorate. Ministries of Interior, Ministry of Health, Ministry, different governmental bodies cooperating and coordinating in order to facilitate voting for Egyptians. Have you witnessed anything that was not proper, irregular, that needed more work in coming elections?
Maybe one thing would be improved in the next elections, or in the near future. Maybe there is what we can say security measures in every premises. Some of them are a little bit doesn't allow the people, elderly or person with disability, to reach the premises easily. So maybe we would.
Have you witnessed anything like this?
Yeah, it's what we can say, that these measures taken to make guarantees or to save the electoral process, it's very good, but it may be take a great place from the doors or the premises, especially when the premises of the election is inside the school, too far, so that it make a burden for the elderly people or the person with disability to first pass this security measures. Then once they reach the doors of the schools, they take more time or more space to reach the premises to make their votes.
Okay, one more question. We were told through the statements of Councillor Ahmed Bindari that the turnout of voters in the countryside and in Upper Egypt was higher than it is in governorates like Cairo or Alexandria. How can you understand that? How can you analyze that?
Maybe it's because of the family effect in this election, because in some areas there is a competition between family of family A and family B, that increases the participation of each family of them to that allow its people to vote for its candidates, for its son, that make a higher competition inside the upper Egypt and countryside due to this reason.
So by this we conclude our special edition today of the Daily Debate. Dr. Ahmed Ishac, specialized in international law. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's all for now. Please stay tuned for more on Nile TV International.